If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses life for my sake will save it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and is himself destroyed or lost? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes in his own glory, and in his Father's and of the holy angels. But I tell you truly, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the kingdom of God. What was he like? Who was Jesus? What did he teach? What was his intention to us? If we follow him today, we must take a fresh look at his life on earth. We must follow according his footsteps and walk in his shoes. Being new with God is a statement of following in him. Who are we if we don't know the real purpose why we are here? It is the most part of a miserable life. According to the book of Ecclesiastes, tells us the conclusion of the whole matter. That is to fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. So when we become a Christian, a life begins for us. It is our choice if we want to begin a new life for God. Never mind, with or without feelings, we are going in a new direction if we choose to follow Christ. We are on our way with God. The first and greatest difference is going to be in our behavior. This is what we would expect, and it is certainly what our friends expect for. We have turned away from evil and are following Jesus. We want to grow in our understanding on how to be a Christian and to enjoy listening to God and responding to his voice. We want to discover how we belong to the wider Christian family and to play our part as fully possible. We want to find God's purpose for our lives so that we can invest our time and talents in his service. Now, when denying ourselves, we need to put off everything if we are willing to follow God. Willingness is to follow God and requires no reservation. Remember the rich young ruler in the book of Luke chapter 18, starting from the verse 18 up to 23. Jesus did not doubt that the young man had obeyed his commandments. But when the Lord commanded him to sell all that he has and distribute it unto the poor, when he heard this, he was very sorrowful because he was very rich. This man is willing to follow Christ, but he is not willing to give up everything. Now, Demas as well, in 2 Timothy 4:10, Demas was a minister and a fellow laborer with Paul. He had by this time grown cold in his experience with Christ and had gone back into the world again. Here it is clear to what extent he was backslide after knowing God's mercy and grace. He failed to follow the will of God for one reason. Demas loved this present world. Now, if we look to Thayer's Greek lexicon, denying means to disregard his own interest. Denying our own interest or ambition to prove our love for God. Satan says, if you follow me, do what you want. But God says, if you follow me, deny yourself. To deny oneself is to be aware only of Christ and no more of self. To see only Him who goes before and no more the road which is too hard for us. Once more, all that self-denial can say is, He leads the way, keep close to Him. That's according for Dietrich Bonhoeffer. When it comes to denying, we put off everything inside of us just to let God lead our path. First of all, everything in this world has an ending. And at the same time, our life is not our own. Denying ourselves, our ambitions and interests is not misleading our dreams, but it is about leading a rightful way. To deny self means not getting what you want, but what you can do for God. Giving up control. Sacrifice everything. Getting rid of your pride and arrogance, and putting others before yourself. We can deny ourselves by dying to the delights and pleasures of this life. Dying to ourselves means being content with the necessities of life. When we want more than these necessities, it is easy to sin. We must learn to take delight and pleasure in simple daily bread. Or as Paul said in the 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 8 up to 9. Now, dying to the delights and pleasures of life is a necessary part of denying self. But it is, of course, not sufficient. Even if we remove every delight and pleasure of this life that surrounds us, sin can still reign in our bodies. As Jesus says in Matthew chapter 15 verse 11, it is not what goes into us that is our main problem. It is what comes out of us from the inside. Now we can take, in denying ourselves, we can learn to ignore ourselves or self-ambition. We can deny self by dying to the desires of others and being alive only to the desires of Christ. We think wrongly that denying self means denying our own needs, so we can be attentive to the needs of others. But Jesus Himself is not attentive to the needs of others. To deny self means even to deny self the right to meet the needs of others. We serve God alone. And when we serve others, we do so because He directs, and we do so as He directs. We can deny ourselves by dying to our self-trust. The Bible consistently teaches us that our self-will is the fallen. It deceives us precisely at the moments when we are convinced we see clearly. Proverbs 14:12 says, "There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." Teach ourselves and rebuke every desires thing that gives unrighteous way. Because to be a follower of Christ, we must be willing to give our life completely surrendered to God. As the Lord said, we must deny ourselves and take up His cross and follow Him. How can we teach others to follow us if we are not really committed to do His work? We must learn to follow Jesus in the everyday realities of life. By truly followers of Jesus in all aspects of our lives, let us deny ourselves daily. Willingness to deny self is the very spirit of Christ. It is the heart and soul of His gospel.